it's not about the money. Shift your mindset from the money to percentages, and you can just literally focus on the strategy and continue to perfect it. Whatever you can do with $10, $100, you can do with 100,000, $1 million, and it keeps going on. You just have to scale from that point.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another TFT interview. Today, I'm joined by Jordan, who has 5 years of trading experience and trading with friends for 1.5 years now. So I can't wait to hear his story. But before we get started, just a quick reminder, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop one comment down below. Okay, welcome, Jordan.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for
So
having me.
cool. So cool to have you here. It's my pleasure. So let's start first with introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into trading.
Yeah, so my name is Jordan. I'm a 27-year-old trader from Michigan. I got a handsome 2-year-old son. His name is Adonis. I'm very family oriented. I actually got into trading about 5 years ago, back in 2019, early 2019. And I actually started trading with IML for about a year. And from there, I didn't really like the whole marketing thing. So I pretty much stopped trading with them. And then I started taking a lot of different courses, went through like YouTube University,
Yeah.
watched a lot of those videos and stuff like that all over YouTube, trying to get a strategy set in place. And then from there, the pandemic hit around 2020, and I really started locking in on my trading because I was at home for so much. And that's when I ran into my mentor from TFX, Ray, and I started taking his course. And I took his 5-day course as well. And yeah, from there, like my trading started to take off. That's when I started getting to like the firms and stuff like that, right around the 2020, 2021. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I got started.
Interesting. And let's talk a little bit about the learning curve. You mentioned that you started with IML, and I guess you've been like hopping from strategy to strategy,
Yeah.
and you ended up taking the 5-day course. I believe that the change did not happen in those 5 days.
Right.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the struggles that you faced, how you dealt with those struggles, and what are the failures that you cherish the most?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, like when I started off with IML, it was more so based off of like moving averages, a lot of indicators, MACDs, all that type of stuff. And I think that clouded my judgment as far as my trading. So it had a big effect on not getting the proper like risk to rewards to actually be profitable. So from that, I think that was the biggest experience that I learned that kind of transitioned me out of that into learning like more price action strategies and stuff like that from YouTube. And I think during that journey and during that time frame, it was more so just like a lot of break evens, a lot of one-to-one trading. I wasn't necessarily really profitable, but I wasn't losing a lot of money. So I think like the biggest lessons I started learning during that time was that it was like more so all about my psychology and how I approach the market based off risk to reward. And I started diving deep into like the things that I look at that I want and that I feel like that I deserve. But I thought, excuse me, I think that early on I didn't have the correct mindset just based off like environment and stuff to really say like, I deserve to make $100,000. I deserve to have this in my bank account, yada yada. So I think that affected like the way that I traded into the market. So I think during that process of learning like the price action strategy, getting to that 5-day course, it was really just building myself up to like become the person that I feel like would deserve high profits in the market. So I think with that, it just started evolving my strategy. I really started locking in on my risk management. I think you mentioned the biggest failures. I think one was when I first got with FTMO. I first did a FTMO challenge, and I was so confident. I finally passed both phase 1 and phase 2. And then I remember like even emailing them like when they sent me the phase two confirmation, like that I passed, I sent them an email like, I can't wait to do the interview with you guys. Like I'm getting excited because I'm thinking like, this is it. It's time. This was a
Mm.
couple of years ago. And I remember like that next day when I first got my live account, I blew it. And I think that was like the biggest thing at that point, that was like the turning point. Like I didn't know if I was going to continue trading. That was like
Mm.
I had did so much to get up to that point. And then once that hit, I was embarrassed. I sent them an email saying that I'm about to, hop on the interview and stuff like that. And it didn't work out. But that was like the loss that I needed to like really get me locked in and focused and really not look at trading more so as money, but based off of like my trading account as percentages and just being able to know that I can do the same thing with $100. So 1% is 1%, so being able to apply that to any dollar amount is like where I got focused. And then once I got to the 5 day course, that really like refined what I already knew in the market. I would say the 5 day course just ultimately like took me to a place to where I could really get small stop losses and get high risk to rewards. And then that just kind of solidified everything for me to be able to pass prop firm challenges and, get consistent payouts.
Mhm. And is the strategy that you're currently using a strategy that you learned from your mentor, or is it like kind of a combination, a hybrid of the things that you've learned from him and before, and you adjusted it so that it's going to fit like your personality?
Yeah, so I think that it is a lot based off what I learned from TGFX. And I think that I just kind of dialed it in with personally, I trade only gold. So I think I
Mhm.
kind of dialed in the strategy to specifically fit gold, but it's basically, yeah, just more so institutional style trading. And I think
Mhm.
that just utilizing everything that I learned from him, I pretty much just applied there because a lot of the stuff that I was learning before it does work, but it wasn't giving me like that high risk to reward that would actually give me, consistent payouts or even pass prop firm
Mhm.
challenges. It was more so like around a 3% gain rate per month or something like that, which isn't bad if I have my own account. But if I want to pass the
Yeah.
prop firm challenge and stuff, I needed something that was going to be more effective, like with the high risk to reward. So I would say I learned a lot psychology wise throughout the different courses and stuff that I took. But as far as like my strategy that I apply, it definitely is mostly from TGFX.
Mhm, mhm. And you mentioned that you were aware that you're not at a place where you deserve to make
Yeah.
those like money that you like. How did you make this transformation in your mindset, and how do you position? Did you position yourself in a place where you felt that you deserve what to make money and to earn those? Yeah, to achieve the goals that you want to achieve on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still a work in progress, obviously,
Yeah.
but to
And
get to
it's never
this,
ending. People should
right.
know that it's never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even to get to this point that I'm at now, it was just I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of visualization. So
Hmm.
like that practice day in and day out. I learned about this through Dr. Joe Dispenza. I
Dispenser.
started reading,
Hmm.
yeah. So I started reading one of his books and basically just understanding like I can create my own reality. Like everything that's around me doesn't define who I am. So doing
Mm.
little things like even taking small trips, seeing nice cars and like thinking mentally in my head, like, I deserve that, like, or going out to a nice restaurant and saying, I deserve to be able to come to nice restaurants like this all the time. And it's not even about like the luxury things, but it's like, I want to have the account size or even in my bank account to say, if I wanted to, I could. You know what I mean? So I
Mm.
think the process was just me mentally seeing myself in the place that I wanted to be and where I wanted to see my family and just being able to take care of my family. I'm like one of the only men in my family. I got my mom, my aunts, my grandma, my
Mm.
fiance. So everybody I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So seeing in my mind like them having the things that they want, them not having to be able to work and stuff like that.
Mm.
Like all those certain things is what I'll sit back and I'll visualize on a daily basis. And I think just building that up, I start applying, I start seeing that shift and start applying that same belief into the markets, and that's when I really like just started winning, and I could take losses a lot more easier because I understood it was a part of the process to get to that vision that I'm getting in tune with each and every day.
Yeah, yeah. Which book was a game changer from you, from Joe Dispenza?
I would say Becoming Supernatural for sure.
Becoming Supernatural.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love everything that he's teaching.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely true
Powerful.
that your personality creates your personal reality. So when it comes to the markets, how do you visualize? Like, what are the things that you want to like say to yourself and meditate in order to be in the zone and have like this right mental state when you're in the charts?
Yeah. So one thing, basically, I visualize two scenarios. So I
Hmm.
visualize myself taking trades effectively,
Hmm.
and basically without any bias, like understanding that whatever I'm seeing in the market, like I don't want to apply a bias to it. It can do whatever it wants to do. So
Hmm.
seeing myself operate like effectively taking shots without any hesitation,
Hmm.
seeing my trades, seeing one of the biggest things for me is like seeing myself hold the trades to the extended
Hmm.
target, and then I have the second scenario of seeing how I deal with losses. So I
Hmm.
visually like see myself closing my laptop and walking away from my computer when I take a loss or two losses for the day. I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
being able to see myself do that, because beforehand, those two losses would turn into three, four, five, six losses
Yeah.
because I'm revenge trading. So like the biggest thing for me was being able to mentally and visually see myself handling losses very well, and then
Mhm.
effectively taking my shots like day in and day out in the market, and then really just getting clear on whatever happened the day before, whatever happened the week before, just coming into the market like with a clear sense of approach so I can just operate effectively, is what I kind of do with my practice.
Yeah, yeah. And like when it comes to the technical edge that you have, like do you have like a playbook of traits of setups that you would like to see? Do you like record yourself? Do you do something like that? Or it's just like visualizing it?
Yeah, so I got both. So I visualize my setups, but I actually record, journal my setups as well. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the trades that I take live. So when I have that Zoom recording, I can go back and rewatch it. So I think that helped me out a lot because I have the setups that I want to see with order flow on the higher time frame. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have the reversal setups that I would take too if price is aligning, during my session time frame. But I think the biggest thing is like understanding like the risk amount. Like for me, I want to risk, so my max allocation for like a trade with order flow is like 0.5% per entry.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I want to make sure that I'm, effectively executing and only using that as much as that I'm going to risk. Now, for in a reversal trade, I cut that risk in half because I know that order flow is king. So I want to make sure that I'm continue to flow with order flow, but I'll cut that risk in half if the setup applies to a reversal trade. So I got
Reversal.
pretty much like a list setup, which is
Mm-hmm.
with order flow, in a B list, which is like a reversal type setup. And then I just use my risks accordingly.
Yeah. And did you feel kind of like psychological pressure? Because you mentioned before the interview that you were live streaming.
Mhm.
How did you feel at the beginning when you start, like when you made the change from trading in your own bubble to like getting out there and allowing and becoming like vulnerable and letting people see what you're doing, sharing with them what your knowledge and your views? Because we know that people sometimes are not so nice.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how did you deal with all the noise? How did you deal with the mental pressure?
So I think that's like the biggest thing that really evolved my trading as well, is to really just know that it's just me in the market. Like for us, we don't keep like the chat on or anything like that. So I'm not like looking at the chat while I'm trying to trade. I don't even
Mhm.
look at how many people is like on the live because I know like at first it was hard because I'm seeing like I got hundreds of people watching me. I could
Mhm.
easily just lose this trade, but I know like overall looking at my statistics, I'm going to lose. Like there's no trader out
Yeah.
there
It's
that's
just part
that's
of
going
the
to
game. Yeah.
yeah, it's a part of the game, but if I can execute and get those high risk reward trades, then I know that they'll still have that confidence in me to be able to continue
Mhm.
to trade with me, and they'll see like this is how real trading is. You're going to take losses, and then boom,
Yeah.
you get a great win. So what really helped me was just kind of blocking out like who's visually like looking at what I'm doing, and then
Mhm.
just like kind of operating. So I think about like professionals, like Kobe or LeBron, like basketball players, like how do they deal with hundreds of thousands of people like viewing them, and then they got
Mhm.
commentators and all this stuff. And I don't got hundreds of thousands of people watching me, but at the end of the day, it's still people that's going to be placing their judgment on what I'm doing in the market,
Yeah.
and they're trusting me to potentially take a trade alongside of me. So if I lose, that means that they lose as well. So I think that I just get into the mindset of like trying to tune everything out and just focus on just myself in the charts and just act like it's pretty much just myself on the I'm just speaking out loud basically. I'm not
Yeah.
no one's watching me. I'm just speaking out
Mhm.
loud of what I'm actually thinking in the market. And then I think it was like a process over time because I can't say like at the beginning it was just super easy. I
Yeah.
really did focus on that. And I think in the beginning, I took a lot less shots in the market. I definitely wasn't trading as much as I would when I wouldn't be trading by myself. But I
Mhm.
think that it made me a better trader though as well because now I'm really focused and locked in on taking the most optimal
Quality.
setups in the market because I
Mhm.
do have people watching. So it was like a win-win. I just had to kind of adjust to it though.
Yeah. So it was like getting out of your comfort zone, but
Mhm.
of course you got a lot from it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah. Would you like to share your screen and show us an example of a trade or maybe how you analyze the charts?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So I got a sell setup and a buy setup here on gold. I'll do the sell setup first.
Mhm.
So just going back out, we can actually reverse price a little bit. So we can go back to the daily time frame here. So my bias always starts out with the daily time frame. I'm looking at that before anything. I
Mhm.
even go out and view like the weekly at like the beginning of the week. But what I'm paying attention to mostly on the daily time frame is the order flow. So we can see here. I mean, if you guys know or been trading gold, we're sitting at all time highs here, around
Mhm.
that 2050, 2075 range. So with price coming and tapping into that, and I also trade order blocks. So we have this bullish bearish order block here
Mhm.
that price is tapped into, and we're starting to get that sell off from that point. So we're seeing a lot of bearish pressure come into the market after coming off those highs. And we're starting to see like bearish continuation. So I pay attention to these patterns as well, because this is a
Mhm.
continuation showing me that, the market is definitely flowing to the downside. I'm looking at these lows as well as like short-term lows or even a break of structure, which would
Mhm.
be this two candlestick pullback that led to this high. So we get that break of structure there, as well as these short-term lows broken. This is telling me we're definitely in bearish order flow at the moment here.
Mhm.
So on this day in particular, this was Friday, May 26th.
Mhm.
So the I'm paying attention to when I first get into the market of the previous day's candle. So the previous day's candle closed bearish. I know that I'm overall bearish. So the most optimal entries in the market for me is going to be particularly, I can find an entry within
The body
if
of the
price wants to
person.
yeah, if price wants to continue, but from the open to the wick area, this is where ultimately I want to look for a sell if we get a retest here or even this
Mhm.
imbalance that was left here. So I had this marked off here. So I had this imbalance here. And then as well as, just this area marked off here, going down to like the 8 hours. So I start doing like a top down analysis and seeing where I
Mhm.
can correlate. So within that imbalance, we had a bearish order block here on the 8 hour time frame, pretty decent wick to the top side as well. So showing us definitely some pretty strong bearish pressure here in the market. Going down to like the 3 hour, I utilize a 3 hour time frame as well as the 4 hour, and just seeing that, believe on the 4 hour. Yeah. So on the 4 hour here, we had another bearish pattern. So this all kind of correlates with that daily point of interest. So going down to like the believe it was like the H1. Yep. So on the H1 time frame, since I trade gold during New York session, I'm always looking at how did London set us up. So either London hasn't came and tapped a point of interest yet, or it oops, let me change that. So either London has tapped the point of interest before New York session, and then we get in on a continuation, or I'm waiting for New York to tap that point of interest. Now, in this day in particular, London session is represented by where you can see this purple here. So this is actually the TGFX indicator that I'm using. It tracks like the session's highs and lows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like another gem, because within this, like this will represent, like if I did a replay back to this point, this will represent London's high here, and then it'll track Asian, New York's high. So within my levels of supply and demand, I can also see the highs that were put in during different sessions. So that helps out a lot. It's a key, or basically like the best way to describe it is seeing what the other traders in the market don't see or don't pay attention to, that just watch for regular support and resistance, seeing that Asian range mapped out, and it maps it out every day for you. Where was London's high? Because all of these are going to represent more support and resistance and give you more confluence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here on the H1, we had a bearish. Now, this is more so of like a variation, because um, it wasn't just bearish. It was more so like a variation, because we had this bullish candle, this small bearish doji candle within this, but it was in within this bearish candles range. So we had a bearish here. Now, price came and tapped this during New York session. So even if we go back and just replay, because I take all my entries here on the 1 minute time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So once price got into this level here on the 1 minute time frame, my actual entry was after. So with gold, you definitely have to be very intricate when um taking trades on the 1 minute time frame, just because of the fact that price could definitely, wick you or stop you out if you don't see your full transition here on, like the M1, M5 time frame. So seeing that this was the high that was created, this was the last two candlestick pullback before. Now, this sometimes can get hard to see, so you got to really view in and make sure you're paying attention to the actual high. So this was the high here. This was broken, giving me a break of structure on the M1
Mm-hmm.
time frame. Price comes back, retests it. I'm looking at these order consumption wicks showing me rejection. We get another bearish, and I tell you guys again and again, I love this pattern, because it definitely even from the higher time frames to the lower time frames, it gives me a lot of confluence that price is ready to, sell off or buy if it was a bullish. We
Mm-hmm.
had this counter trend line as well that I like to mark coming into the zone. We get that pattern retest, and I enter here, and then price, pretty much just dropped off here. So we go back up to the 15. And I'm also using this indicator as well to like get my targets. So we got like the New York's previous low, the Asian and previous days low marked off for us here. So
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, and it is Friday. So usually for me, my targets go from like a 1 to 8 to a 1 to 10 is
Mm-hmm.
like my extended target. And on a Friday, I might close a little bit early, looking at depending on how the session aligns. So we know with Friday over the weekend, price could pretty much do anything. So I'm gonna take most of my profit at that initial push, which I did around here. So if we hit play, price that made a nice drop for us. So this was around like a 1 to 7 or 1 to 8, where I took most of my profit, and then I let the rest run here. And then it pretty much just kind of ranged around and then dropped off for I think it was throughout the next day, and then price pretty much came back. So once I'm going to a 1 to 3, I'm going to break even. And then
Mhm.
again, I took most of my profits there, and then I let the rest run. And we got like a 1 to 10, 1 to 11 on this setup. So yeah, that was the sell setup. Did you want me to go over the buy as well?
Yeah, we can have a look at it as well. And
Okay.
do you take like partials only depending on the time, or do you have like do you take partials like at specific levels?
Yeah, so for me, I'm really just holding to that final extended target. So anywhere between that 1 to 8 to 1 to 12 is where I'm looking to take the majority of my profit. Like I pretty much just let it run. I found out through my strategy that that's where I can get like the highest payout. That's where I can
Hmm.
balance out any losses that I take. So I'm always moving my stops to break even once I get to 1 to 3. Once I get to like a 1 to 5, I'll move potentially like up to a 1 to 1. And then once I
Hmm.
get closer to that 1 to 8 to 1 to 10, maybe even up to 1 to 12, if we're like in a breakout range, that's where I start to move it more so like
Trail
trailing my
your
stop.
stuff. Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't want it because I have had price come all the way to like a 1 to 9, and I was going for a 1 to 10, and then it just came back to break even.
Hmm.
So I got smart about that to where once I get close to that around that range, just understanding the price range of gold. So I'm normally risking 20 pips per trade, and
Hmm.
gold usually moves with a nice push of around like 200 pips.
Hmm.
So if I can get that, that'll equal like a 1 to 10 for me if I can get in on, the highs or lows of that day. And yeah, so that's how I kind of base off my range of like take profits, but I'm definitely going for the extended all the time. But like on a Friday for sure, if I know that price is probably gonna start ranging
Yeah,
and then coming into the
in the PM
weekend.
hours. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm definitely taking most of my profit after that first push if I can get close to where I'm looking at for my extended target.
Yeah. And how did you choose to stick to gold?
So I was actually trading gold and oil for quite some time, like
Hmm.
just kind of back and forth. I tried to do the indices, but I was getting tore up with those wicks. So I think that with that, it was like I love the volatility of gold. I
Hmm.
felt like Forex was a little bit too slow. Like I was trading like EU. I wasn't trading in the GBP pairs because I felt like
Hmm.
those were um not really moving as well with my strategy, but I was trying to do EU, but it was a little bit slower. So it's like I felt like gold and oil was like a good balance. But then from there, this year actually is when I just started trading just strictly gold
Only
because I
gold.
wanted to just
Hmm.
really lock in and focus on just one and give it all my attention to really like understand exactly how it moves.
Hmm. Okay, we
Yeah.
can take a look at the bullish setup as well.
Okay. So basically on this bullish setup here, what we're starting to see is, after we got that sell off, we're starting to build again. My favorite pattern, the bullish bearish, or the continuation pattern. So we got a
Yeah.
bullish pattern here, and we started to see some more bullish expansion to the upside. Now, one thing I'm paying attention to is these order blocks here to the left because price could easily tap into this and then continue that sell off here. But if my lower time frames are still showing me buys or continuations, and I'm gonna continue to buy until we get that reaction, potentially
Hmm.
off these highs or even targeting the liquidity from these highs. So
Hmm.
going down to like the 8 hour time frame, seeing some pretty nice wicks to the bottom side. We're continuing to maintain this bullish pressure here. Going down to like the 3 hour as well. 3 hour is definitely building bullish. I love how the 3 hour kind of just forms and you can kind of see order flow from it. So if we look at this low, this was the last two candlestick pullback from this low. So we broke structure to the upside and we continue to push here and maintain the lows. So coming into New York session or London session actually tapped this bearish bullish order block sitting at this low, and it, excuse me, it actually correlated with London's low. And we also had an imbalance that was created with this bullish push through London. So this gives me an overall point of interest based off of this order block that was created off of London. So London session plays a huge part in the strategy of how it sets me up. So it already
Mhm.
came, tapped demand, made a nice bullish engulfing candle, left an imbalance. So I got an order block I can look for a retest as well as this imbalance fill. So going down to like the 15-minute time frame, we can see, price definitely came, tapped this level, seen some nice expansion here during London. So now I got a point of interest, and we can even see like within this level, we have imbalances. We can also
Yeah.
correlate with the session. So we got Asian low, the previous Asian's low, as well as New York's low, and then we got the previous day and London's low. So this gives me an overall point of interest in an area within the level of demand that I already have highlighted. So going back down to like the 1 minute time frame to see the entry, I'm doing pretty much the same process here. Now, this one definitely was a little bit more risky. I can't remember exactly what news that came out this day. But a lot of times price will align with news here on gold. So that's like one of the biggest things I do love about TFT as well is that if I do get that confirmation before news, I don't have to worry like with FTMO. I traded
Yeah,
news
2 minutes
ultimately.
before and after. Yeah.
Right. So that ended up blowing my account with them. But with TFT, it gives me that wiggle room. So the trade that I actually took here, once price came down into this level, I'm looking for like this transition in quasi. So we got a left head and right shoulder form. We take out two short-term highs. So we got a short-term high here based off this bullish bearish order block, also correlated with a trend line break. So we got this candle to break here, as well as this bullish bearish order block. So this is counts as like a short-term high for me. So once we
Mhm.
get two of those break, that's pretty much a confirmation for me to take the buy setup. So I actually enter on this candle here at about, let me fix this. So I had again like a 20 pip stop loss. So news came in, got pretty close to stop loss, but still was protected. I knew that if I placed my stops, below, because the price still had this small imbalance here on the M1 time
Mhm.
frame. So price could definitely still come back and fill that. But if I can place my stops below that, then we may be safe. But you never know with news. But a lot of times with gold, if it does align right before, it will give you a nice impulse. So that's something I'm always looking for. Sorry, I don't know what. Okay. So from there, again, going back up to like the higher time frames, as far as my targets go, I'm looking to, if I can get in on the expansion of this candle, I'm looking to make the new high. So the New
Mhm.
York's previous high as well as the previous day's high is here. So I'm looking to ride up to potentially make a new high. But all within this is like the take profits that I'm giving and that I'm calling live. So correlated with the London in Asians high, we have,
Mhm.
here right around the 1 to 3 for our first target. And then we have the New York and previous days high, which was like around a 1 to 7 was the next
Yeah.
target. But like for me personally with my account, I'm holding to my extended target. So I was looking to run, and we were actually within a breakout range here. So when we're in these type of breakout ranges, I definitely like to see if I can get, a good chunk. So I think I went to like a 1 to 11 on this one.
So you kind of like watch the delivery, and if you see that the delivery is still bullish, if you're buying, then you keep the trade until the last target.
Exactly. So yeah,
Mhm.
so it was somewhere around this point, but I definitely just looked to continue. And then like for instance, let's say my target was just like above here and I started to see the reversal. This is where I'm going down to like the 5 minute time frame and I'm looking at like the bullish continuation order blocks. I want to see this maintain. So this is where I would place my stop below just in
Mhm.
case it doesn't reach that full target. So, regardless if it ends up stopping me out, I still end up with around a 1 to 8.5 or
Yeah.
8.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those
That
are two
that's
two
amazing.
scenarios of trades that I took well with this account.
Great. Like the risk to rewards are like amazing. I wonder, like, what is your win rate with the risk to rewards that you have?
Yeah, so that's the thing, and that's like the big part of psychology. So my win rate is somewhere around 35 to 50%.
Hmm.
50% when the market is trending very well, 35% like where gold is kind of now or where it's been over the past couple of weeks of when it's consolidating. So I noticed that
Yeah.
my strategy works best, and gold does give pretty nice impulses, but it's when order flow and prices trending. So that's the biggest thing and kind of the factor of like when we're talking about trading live is that they will see a lot of break evens. They will see a lot of, once I get into profit, for instance, let's say we run this high, I move my stops to half and stuff like that. So I will take
Hmm.
like half a loss or a full loss or a break even multiple times before I get to trades like the two
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
showed you. So the psychology plays a big part, but I know that overall, if I keep my risk low, I'm going to outweigh any loss that I take. So I just continue to try to stay consistent, but it's kind of hard to, like, again, trading live, you got people watching to really
Hmm.
understand that. But once they can trade with you long enough, then they can see, over time, it's
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also about like finding what suits your personality, because some people can't just handle mentally many losses in a row, or and waiting for this big RR. So it's about
Yeah.
understanding yourself and finding what suits you best. What kind of skills did you have to develop to become a profitable trader, and to develop mindset of a trader, of a consistent trader?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that I really had to work on and develop was like to really get me to this point was again like holding my setup. So I understood that my trading strategy was profitable, but if I'm only going for like a 1 to 3, 1 to 5, how I'm evening out those losses that I'm taking previously is going to take a bit more time. So if I want to see those big account movements and growth, I had to be more disciplined in holding my setup. So I think that, but really just finding other ways outside of trading to be disciplined. So like
Mhm.
working out, studying, reading, like stuff that I wouldn't normally do. Like, I wouldn't just be watching TV or playing the game. Instead, I would take time to, read, journal,
Yeah.
again, work out. So like creating that discipline and having a set routine and schedule for myself each and every day helped me to become more disciplined in the things that I wanted to see in the market and actually helped me with that mindset shift of and it doesn't always have to be like books about trading. It could be
Trading.
yeah,
Mhm.
they could be about anything. It's just like more so of advancing my mindset into being more professional and
Mhm.
understanding that like for me to be professional in the charts is going to take a certain level of discipline and a certain level of mastery. So I have to apply that same mastery into everything that I'm doing, like even if it's just like cleaning up or doing
Mm.
yard work, but just actually putting in detail into what I'm doing, and I see how that has like affected and changed what I'm doing in the market. And I think I learned that I can't remember his name, but in Market Wizards, he said if you can learn to be disciplined in everything, trading will become easy. So it's like
Mm.
I think that it's helped me evolve. Like trading has taught me how to evolve in my life, and I use those same concepts, and it's like now they both like coincide with each other. So I think yeah, just creating disciplines outside of trading actually helps my trading as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about the how trading changed your different aspects of your life? Like, how did it change you as a person? And what are the
Yes.
things that you realized about yourself?
Mm. So I think that trading, first of all, made me realize that I was too greedy,
Hmm.
and I was kind of over anxious in that I didn't have good management over my emotions. So I
Hmm.
think trading definitely taught me a lot of patience, as well as having a 2-year-old son. Like I think that kind of coincided and helped me to be more patient as a parent. And
Hmm.
I think that life kind of taught me patience as well that I got to apply to the chart. So I think that for sure, it definitely humbled me a lot and just teaching me patience, teaching me not to be greedy teaching me to be more intricate because you see with this strategy, we're entering on the 1 minute time frame. So really
Mm,
paying attention to detail. So I think the charts really taught me how to pay attention to detail. So even again, like with chores, little stuff that I'm doing around the house, even the time that I'm spending with my family, it taught me to be like more present. Like I think that's like the biggest thing the market taught me is I have to be so present while I'm taking
mm,
these trades to really execute at a high level. And I got to really apply that to like into everything that I do. So like I'm not more so on my phone all the time. Like when I'm with my family and friends, I learn how to really be present in everything that I'm doing. And it really just like enhance every experience of my life for sure.
yeah, yeah. And what do you wish that you did differently? Like if you're about to start now with the experience that you have and the knowledge that you have, what do you wish that you did differently? And what do you think that if you change, what are the things that you would have changed to make your journey easier and
Yeah.
better?
I think I would have never rushed the process for sure. Like
Mm,
it, I would have been locked in on just understanding the market completely instead of
mhm,
like, oh, I need to get this money to get out of my job. Oh, I need to get this money so I can go on a vacation. Oh, I need to get
mhm,
this money for this. I would definitely stop focusing on the money. I would even go down to, again, like I was telling you earlier, like just taking $100 into a regular broker account, making 1% on that. Like it's not about the money. It will be, I would tell myself, shift your mindset from the money to percentages, and you can just literally focus on the strategy and continue to perfect it. Because whatever you can do with $10, $100, you can do with 100,000, $1 million, and it keeps going on. You just have to scale from that point. So I would just tell myself, like, I could go back, I would take more focus, be more present, not trying to rush it because now that I'm actually at a point that I'm profitable, I'm looking back at everything I went through and I'm like, you know what, that wasn't really that bad. Like it wasn't even that long. But it
mm.
going through that journey, it seemed like it was forever. But now that I'm to this point, it's like, wow, that happened kind of quickly. So
Yeah,
if I would have just paced myself and tried to slow down, I wouldn't have had to go and bump my head so many times to even get to this point.
yeah, yeah. What is your plan moving forward with trading and in general?
Yeah, so my plan moving forward is to basically get like max allocation with you guys.
Mhm,
So I want to really get, 600K account, get it all probably merged all together and really start trading that and really scaling like I definitely want to get maybe potentially more firm accounts and scale even further. I'm looking to be a homeowner soon as
mhm,
well. So just that different stuff like with my family and kind of freeing more of my time and like my friends and family, seeing if I can do more things to empower them to free their time and, even
mhm.
potentially like building businesses and things that we can do. But right now I'm just really focused on making my profit and locking in on the charts and getting that max allocation. So that's like I guess my goal kind of moving forward.
Priority.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and then from there we'll see. But yeah, that's my goal as of right now.
Mm. How did you find TFT and how is your experience with us?
Yeah, so I found TFT actually through my mentor Ray. He was trading with you
Mhm,
guys first, and then I once I followed you guys, I start seeing you like all over social media, and yeah, my experience has been great. I think that like the customer service as well as getting my payout, there was no issues, and
mhm,
as far as like the trading as well, like I didn't really have to deal with. I told you before, like too much slippage, like from what I was getting from my forex funds and stuff like that,
mhm.
so it worked out really well. I've been really happy with you guys.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay,
Yeah.
any last words that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so basically I would just tell anyone watching this again, don't rush the process. Time does not exist. It's only the steps that you have to take from getting to where you're at now to being a profitable trader. So just keep going. I hope this interview encourages all you guys.
Thank you so much. You shared so many good things with the audience. So yeah, I thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I wish you best of luck with trading and your future goals. And I hope to have a follow up interview when you hit the maximum allocation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And to all of you watching, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and show us some love in the comments down below. Trade safe, and until next time.